welcome to episode 9 of my Christmas series. Sitting down with me today, we got Rich Romano. How are you, Rich?
I'm good. Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes. So I feel like a lot of people probably don't know that we're related.
Yes.
You know, you're more like an uncle to me than anything, but
Absolutely.
really we're second cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, you know, a lot of people, I talk to some of the people involved in the show and everything. I'm like, oh yeah, like my Uncle Rich will be there. And they're like, your uncle, oh really? You guys are related? I'm like, yeah. But I mean, you know, don't think I could have gotten where I am music-wise if it wasn't for you and of course everyone else. But I mean, you were there helping us out super early along the way, helping me out more than anything.
Oh yeah.
You know, I remember we did the crossings.
Yep.
When I was a kid. We played acoustic arrangement of Children of the Sea by Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah. That was quite a while ago.
And it actually turned out really good.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was actually a good arrangement of the song,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Yep.
So I feel like a lot of people probably don't know your music background, and that's one thing that I love about doing these interviews, because people see us, you know, especially they see you out all the time.
Yeah.
But people recognize you, but they don't know how you got into things. So tell us a little bit. How'd you get started? What made you want to start playing guitar? All that good stuff.
Well, let's see. I mean, I grew up in the 70s as a kid, so that was my foundation right there was 70s music. I always enjoyed everything, you know, from Steely Dan to Sabbath to, you know, Zeppelin, even Skinner, and even, you know, I must admit, I was a huge Kiss fan in the 70s, and Van Halen, of course, but, so, you know, all those bands and great guitar players from that era, my favorite guitar players were the 70s guys, really got me going at a young age. So I got my first guitar, I believe when I was 7 or 8 in the late 70s, and I really took it seriously, you know, from the get-go. I jumped right in head first, and I you know, started taking lessons maybe 1980, 81, and I remember I took lessons in Latham Circle Mall, of all places, from a guy named Matt Dunn, I believe his name was. And then shortly after, I started taking lessons in Troy, at Hilton in Troy, from a gentleman named Chip Austin, rest his soul. He was quite the character. I really liked Chip. For a while, I took lessons from him. And then from there, I just, you know, kind of became an ear guy, you know, and I wasn't a big fan of structure at that time, so going to lessons every week was a bit much for me. And so, you know, shortly after that, I kind of started just jamming with friends, and, you know, had a lot of hometown friends that were even fantastic musicians at that time, even in the early 80s. You know, Todd Hinman on drums, and, you know, I mean, we just formed these little bands with no singers, and so I really just started cutting my teeth that way, and eventually I ended up in some local bands that were actually gigging in the mid 80s, and you know, they would sneak me in the bars, and I would just, you know, I believe, you know, there's all different ways that people like to, you know, hone their craft, but I was always the guy that just wanted to be out playing, and, you know, and always playing with other people. So that was my foundation back in those days, and, you know, just kept doing it. You know, and here I am, and still loving it every day of my life.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you remember what your first official band was called?
God, that's a really good question. That's a few brain cells ago. Maybe Sinister. I think maybe if I had to guess, it was a band called Sinister, and we were just, you know, we were playing, you know, Judas Priest covers and Maiden, and, you know, all those great bands from back in the day. Riot, you know, and then we eventually started playing Rainbow songs, which was really cool because Richie Blackmore is absolutely one of my favorite guitar players ever. So, Sinister. Let's just call it Sinister. Yeah. That sounds good.
And I mean, it's been so many bands that you've been in nowadays. By this point, you know, everyone I've talked to, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I've played with Rich at some point." Like, I feel like everyone's played with you at some point.
Yeah. Well, I definitely got around back in the day. I've, you know, been with Skeeter Creek now for quite a long time. So this is like, you know, it's been a good 5 years.
Which is, I remember when you joined Skeeter Creek.
Yeah, and I really don't have time to do stuff on the side at all.
I
You
know.
Every now and then I'll join somebody for a, you know, a gig or, you know, whatever. But yeah, if I had to guess, there's been quite a few bands that I've worked with and played with over the years and formed and joined, and you know, and I actually did a lot of the same in Florida when I lived in Florida for 7 years. I gigged down there constantly, even almost more so than I do now here. So yeah, it's been quite the trip, quite the ride.
Do you think the music scene was similar in Florida? Was it like a little better?
Well,
was there more stuff going on?
There was a lot of bands, and there was a lot of clubs, and you can play a lot more down there.
Yeah.
From what I remember, you know, some of my bands, I think one of my bands was playing 5 nights a week. You know,
wow.
You know,
it's a lot.
And Wednesday through Sunday, I think I was playing for a couple of years, and you know, it was just nonstop, even more so than here. You know, with Skeeter as busy as we are, but you know, we definitely. I saw some, you know, some similarities with, you know, the music scene down there. But, you know, here is like home to me, so I'm way more familiar with the musicians here than I was there, even though I was playing with some great guys, some great cats down there.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, music is music, and, you know, obviously there's going to be different music scenes wherever you go and different vibes and everything, but, you know, definitely feel more at home here than I did in Florida.
Yeah.
You know?
So I remember, like you were saying, about 5 years ago or whatever, you joined Skeeter Creek.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you telling us that you were joining it, but how'd you end up, like, did you audition? How'd you end up getting into it?
No, it's funny, it was early morning, you know, random day during the week, like a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I got a message on Facebook, Messenger, I think it was, you know, it was Facebook Messenger, like it is now. Random text at 10 o'clock in the morning from Jeff Studwire, who's the drummer.
Yeah.
And he just started kind of like saying, hey, do you see yourself, you know, gigging quite a bit? Just, you know, I was kind of reading it going, I'm not sure what this is about. You know, it was like momentary confusion. I was like, is this guy asking me to, you know, be in that band? You know,
yeah.
You know, I was kind of early. I had like, you know, only 2 cups of coffee at that point, so I was still a little tired. And of course, that's what he meant. So it just kind of, you know, started there, and after that, I believe it was about 2 or 3 weeks in the works, and you know, they were going through some changes in their within their band with their guitar player, and you know, and they just had asked me to come up and check him out, and you know, it was pretty, you know, it didn't really even end up being an audition, you know.
Yeah.
It was just like, you know, let's go. You know, and I was like, okay, cool.
That's great.
You know, yeah, it was pretty effortless. There was no, you know, there was definitely a mutual, like, okay, let's do this. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that makes sense.
Yeah, we ended up having the same thing with our guitarist now.
Yeah.
Because like we did auditions, and then we ended up going with a guy who lived closer.
Okay.
And then he ended up being the wrong pick.
Yeah.
And then we were like, hey, Nolan, you're in. Come on, let's go.
So you know, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to right now? What do you got on the
schedule?
All that stuff.
We're always quite, you know, we're pretty busy, you know, throughout the winter months as well, and not nearly as busy as the summer months. We're slammed in the summertime, but we're, you know, keeping very busy fall and winter. You know, it's really just same, you know, that we play the, you know, winter gigs are, you know, same 5 places, you know, Wicked, Frog Alley, Rivers.
Yep.
Vapor.
I mean, it's hard around here in the cold.
Yeah. So, you know, back in the day, you know, before COVID hit, it seemed like there was a few more clubs to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we definitely, our schedule isn't as busy as it was when I joined the band, but we're still, you know, very busy and going quite strong.
Yeah.
So everything's really good. You know, we're just having a lot of fun, and the train just keeps rolling. You know.
Yeah.
So
I saw you guys had the country night thing at Rivers. How was that? Wasn't that at Rivers?
Yeah, we actually played with Big Sky Country. And Kevin Richards did some DJing, I believe, between us, and it was a great night. Big Sky crushed it. They were awesome. And that was actually the first time I've seen them live, and I was very impressed, because it's very hard to get out to see your friends, and
I know.
You know, when you're gigging so much, and I every weekend it seems like I miss out on so many good shows. And
Oh, I know. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, and then we went on, you know, after them, and it was a fantastic night. There was a lot of great energy in the room, a lot of people, and you know, it was really cool because we were all home early.
Yeah.
I think I was home by like 10:30.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah, 10:45 I was, you know, home watching whatever, and you know, it was like, cool. I could definitely get used to this. So
yeah.
We had a good night.
Yeah, and that was at the event center there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And normally we play at the other band Slicks there. So, but yeah, the event center is a giant room, and it was very lively.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, as we're doing this for animal lovers, local cat and kitten rescue. I mean, besides the fact that I can call you up and say, hey, I got something, are you free?
Yeah.
But besides that, you know, what made you, the animals wise, what made you want to get involved?
Well, of course, you know, because, you know, you're my, well, because I'm your uncle. I mean, I want to be, you know? But, no, I mean, I'm a pet lover, I always have been. You know, I'm a dog guy. I have 2 Frenchies, and I've always had dogs, and, you know, of course, this is for a great cause, so it's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
And a lot of great people involved, and, you know, everything you do is always exciting, and, you know, it's always just, you know, for a good cause. So I really didn't have to think twice about it.
Well, awesome.
I'm glad that I was able to step in and you know, be available for this. It was, you know, because usually I'm slam busy, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
tell us a little bit about your 2 Frenchies. Okay. I love having everyone.
So
tell
I have
us about their
I have
pets.
Lilo and Stitch. They're both. Lilo's almost 2.
Yeah.
And Stitch is 7 months old now, 8 months. And they're just, if you know anything about Frenchies, they're just adorable. You know, they're just, you know, I can't, you know, I hate, you know, the word cute and, you know, all that good stuff. It's a little, you know, but, you know, they're adorable dogs. And these are actually my first Frenchies. I've always had Labs and, you know, big rugged dogs, you know, and you know, Rottweilers and things like that. But now I'm definitely on a different, you know, I'm in a whole different world with these kind of smaller dogs, and so, but they're great. They're very personable. They're loving. They're very playful, and they always got to be on you.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
they always got to be.
I just love that they're Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
And it's like the perfect name for a Frenchie too, because they kind of look
Well,
like Stitch too.
Yeah, we, you know, it was, you know, Lilo. We didn't have any plans on getting another dog. It just kind of happened. And, so naturally, you know, it's just Lilo and Stitch is, you know, makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah, so but we're absolutely in love with the dogs, Sherry and I, and all the kids love the dogs. It's just it's a great little life with them. You know, just makes your life better as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So last question, fun question. Christmas is also the whole other part of this thing. What's a Christmas tradition that you guys have that, I mean, it doesn't have to be individual to you guys, but what's something you always look forward to doing every year?
When you say we, what do you
Could be, you know, your family as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Could be
I didn't know
now.
if you meant the band or, I mean, really, there's no, we don't, like, you know, we just decorate the heck out of the house. You know, we always have family over on Christmas Day, that kind of thing. There's really, you know, we don't go out Christmas caroling or anything like that. You know, I'm too shy, and I'm not a singer.
Yeah.
I try to sing, but
I know Carrie, like from Jukebox Rebellion.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, we don't have a tradition. We just get up Christmas morning and we all have like 3 mimosas." And I was like, "Carrie, that's a tradition."
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely drinking going on in the house, but it's that's a given.
Yeah. There's always the year. Mom.
But we just, it's just togetherness, really. I mean, I'm just happy to have what I have, and grateful for all that good stuff, and so that to me is tradition in itself every year.
Yeah.
Just it's status quo, but it's always it's always a good time.
Yeah. There's always, Mom talks about, Thanksgiving just passed. Mom always talks about the year that at Thanksgiving, when you guys were kids.
Yeah.
When great grandma would make her pumpkin pies, and she made 2, and Kristen took one of them and hid it under her bed, and it got all moldy because she forgot about it, but she stole it so no one else could eat it. Mom always talks about it every year when she makes pumpkin pie.
Yeah. Well, if I remember correctly, I believe growing up in the 80s, we always used to spend Christmas Eve at your grandparents' house.
Yeah.
Because as you know, they were my second parents growing
right.
up. So.
And my grandpa's birthday's Christmas Eve, so there's always a party for him on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
But yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So it's a good time of year. I actually like Christmas. Some people get depressed around
You
the
actually
holidays.
like Christmas?
Yeah, I do.
Oh my God.
I really do. This time of year is my favorite.
I know.
Just something happens within me that I just come out of my shell a little bit, because I'm a pretty private person, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm definitely into this type of this time of year. So
yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Everybody,
thanks for having me.
Stay around, and
Happy
we're gonna
holidays.
go perform Little Drummer Boy. Don't go anywhere. Little baby, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I am a poor boy too, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I have no gift to bring, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. That's fit to give a king, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum. Shall I play for you, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, on my drum? Mary nodded, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. The ox and lamb kept time, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I played my drum for him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum. I played my best for him, pa-rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, rum-pum-pum-pum, playing my drum, first try.
Yeah, got it.